Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Tier List Making uh, Work Name in Progress, I guess. And I am here with a good buddy of mine. He's a professional quarterback. He has his own merch that I'm actually wearing. He can't see it, but I have an Darth Vader shirt on because it's my
Oh, sick.
warmest. It is the heaviest short sleeve t shirt that I own, and it is kind of cold in Texas. But it is Justin Arth, professional quarterback aficionado, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess you can say pitching aficionado too, because you got the coaching certification. So yes, I am qualified to talk about these hats.
Yeah, Jeff, you when you think of Josh and Justin, you think fashionistas,
Yes, we
probably
are the fashionistas.
is the
Fashion
first.
advice 101 right here.
Yeah, is the first thing that a lot of people think of when they think of us. I think it's safe to say. But yeah, today we are doing the spring training hats. Pitchers and catchers report this week as you guys are watching it, or if they haven't already reported for your team, this is going to come out right in the middle of all of that. So that's exciting. We thought we'd talk about the hats first, see how that goes, maybe do some other stuff down the road. But like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy. Give Justin a follow. All his social media and stuff will be in the description. If you like thirst traps of of quarterbacks,
Y'all, we're thirst trapping over here on the IG. So
yeah,
go
yeah.
follow me over there.
If you're into that, ladies or dudes, it's 2025. Can't judge. But yeah, we're gonna do these. All 30 teams are represented. The tiers we have to start are the best, pretty good, decent, meh, boring, but that's okay. Do something new, please, and then the worst. Only one can be the best. Only one probably can be the worst. And we're just gonna hop right into it. And I am leading us off here with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I don't think it's amazing. I like the logo a lot. I like the Jolly Roger head. It's not Jolly Roger. I like the pirate head on the front of it. I know wish though it had like gold somewhere on it or like red like on top or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I just
Yeah,
it's like missing that
especially with
thing. It's close.
especially with everything you've seen. Like obviously MLB, the show 25 is already or not out yet, but the cover's already been released. Like in my opinion, I think the Pirates need to do more with yellow, especially with what Skeens is wearing on the cover. Like if that was the hat, I'm all for it. Do more with yellow is my big thing for the Pirates.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's decent. I think there's potential. I like the like secondary logo. I like they didn't just go with the P. I like the texture in
Yeah.
the back. I just kind of wish there was more color to it. Would be
Yep.
my big thing.
So
But
what tier are you putting it in?
I think I'm going decent. I think it's a little bit better than meh, although it's probably the very low end of decent as we go. I'm gonna put it in
Okay.
decent for now. I reserve the right to like change it as
If
we
I'm throwing my opinion in there, I'm throwing it in. Do something new, please.
Oh,
Well,
interesting. Okay.
I like the I like the pirate. I agree with you there. I like putting the pirate on it instead of the Pittsburgh P. But I think this would be indecent or pretty good for me if you use yellow. If that's a yellow hat with a black bill, or heck, even a black bill with a yellow, or excuse me, black hat with a yellow bill, I think
Yeah.
could have done something there. Like use yellow.
I almost wonder what it would look like with a red brim. I think that could have been cool because that's happened in the past of Pittsburgh, like
True.
uniform history, but not here, obviously.
So staying in the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals. If I'm giving MLB predictions, like I sent Josh the other day, a team that I think will finish last place in the NL Central. Yes, hot take. But St. Louis Cardinals. I think I haven't looked at a bunch of their spring training hats in the past, but this feels like a St. Louis Cardinals hat that I've seen. That I feel like is basically the hat that they wear anyway. So I have it. I think it's still a solid hat, but I have it in the top of boring, but that's okay.
Okay. I think
I
the
think it's
St. Louis
I think
hat
it's solid.
is the one we shipped to Africa last time we did one of these. I think we
Yes.
had it as the worst.
Like I think it's going to look good if you're a St. Louis fan and you want to wear it. And we don't need to ship this one to Africa.
I think the last time it just looked like the cardinal was like peeing or whatever. I'm trying to
Yes.
remember. I think that's what it was. It was like that meme. Okay, so I'm up here with our third NL Central team, and I guess the creator of this just felt like the NL Central wasn't getting a ton of love, so he knocked out three in the first three. But we have Milwaukee, and Milwaukee for me is going to be a do something new, please. I just feel like, you know how we talked about the Pirates need more yellow? I think the Brewers specifically need less yellow in this hat. I think they need to go to like the navy, like top, like of the cap part of the hat,
Hmm.
and then like maybe a yellow brim or something. I just think there's too much yellow. For me, maybe Brewers fans like it a lot. It is different than their normal hats, which is a positive thing. I just don't like it for me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the beautiful hat that could have been made with this would have been just flipping the bill color with the hat color. If you would have flipped those colors, I think it's an amazing hat, and that yellow of the Milwaukee Brewers logo pops. But isn't that basically just the Brewers hat that they wear anyway? So that's, I guess, why they want to switch it, change it at spring training. They already have a powder blue hat anyway with their throwback stuff. So I see why they do it, but no, I agree with you. Do something new.
So you're up here with Philly.
Ugh, hate this team. All right. Anyway, absolutely the worst. No, no. If I'm going to be objective about the Philadelphia Phillies hat, I actually really love the Bell logo that they have. It even takes me back to like MLB, what, like 13 or 14, the show when I did like an MLB franchise with the Phillies. Last time I ever did a franchise with anyone in the NL East. Whenever I do franchises. I really like the hat. I wish they would add some other colors to it. Like if they would have had it added maybe that same color blue on the Liberty Bell and put it on the bill of the hat just to give it a little extra color. But even without that, I say this is probably at worst top of decent, if not bottom of pretty good for me.
Okay. I think honestly, I think it's pretty good. I think I'm right, like we're right on the same page with this one. I think blue, like even on the button, like on top of the hat, I would like it a lot more, but I think it's pretty good, like on the scope of things. I think I like what I'm finding looking through these right now. I like it a lot when teams use like a secondary logo that's not
Yes.
like on any other hat. So
the
I
the
do like
secondary
that a lot.
logo really carries some of these hats, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, so yeah, I think it's pretty good. I would say bottom are pretty good. We can move it later. We're feeling it out right now. And that is your New York Yankees with the pinstripe look. And I think this is going to be very polarizing. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I don't. For me, this is a do something new, please. I don't love it. I like the effort. I like that it's different because the Yankees don't do different very often. I just don't like it. I would like different, like in a different way. Maybe throw their
But
secondary logo that never gets used on a
but is
hat
this
or something.
better than Milwaukee's "Do Something New, Please," or is this worse?
This is for me. This is pretty bad. I think it.
Okay.
I think it's for me. It's worse. I could be talked into better. I could be talked into meh. Maybe. I. I don't know. What do you think?
So for me, I've got to see it like once they start playing spring training games. Like, are they going to wear that like deep dark navy blue jersey with the pinstripe pants that they'll typically wear with this? If that's the case, I think the hat's significantly better because you've actually done something different.
Yeah.
that, I mean, I don't think it's great, but I kind of want to give them brownie points for actually doing something different.
Yeah.
In terms of secondary logos, I off the top of my head don't know what secondary logo the Yankees could really be using. So you can maybe flash that up on the screen if the logo you're thinking. But
Yeah.
I think it's a really solid attempt of doing something different, and I don't think it's actually as terrible as you seem to hate it. I would have actually put it in decent.
Okay. I don't know. I think a lot of people are gonna like it. I just don't. You
I
know what I'm
just like how
saying?
they're doing something different. Like no other
Yeah.
team here is doing pinstripes. If a team's going to do pinstripes, the New York Yankees should be that team. Like I like the fact that they've actually done something different and not necessarily went 80s vibes, but
Yeah.
brought pinstripes back on a hat. We haven't seen that in a long time.
You bring up
Unless
an
you go to like Mitchell and Ness and you buy one of those like off-brand hats.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point that I didn't think about because I guess I'm imagining this with them wearing the full pinstripe uniform. To me, that's like a lot of pinstripes happening if like the top of the jersey and the pants are pinstripes and then suddenly your hat is also pinstripes. But
But
I
that's the
think
thing, I think their spring training stuff, they do away with the pinstripes on the jersey, and they'll wear that, like, deep navy blue
yeah.
jersey with it until they get close to the regular season when they start wearing their normal game jerseys.
Okay. I think with that, it would be decent. I just need to see it on the field. I need a
Yeah.
category for reserve rights to grade later.
So maybe we can meet in meh for now until
Yeah,
we
we'll
see it on
throw
the
it
field.
top of meh, but it's not
Yeah,
meh. Like
I
it
would
is,
put it above
it's
Pittsburgh.
inherently interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe bottom of decent fits better. We'll see.
I'm gonna put it top of meh right in front of Pittsburgh on mine.
Okay, okay. So you're up here with the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, so the Chicago White Sox, very terrible on the field and not getting any better in the hat department. I think with this, I mean, yes, it's different than everybody else. The only thing close to a gray hat in these hats are obviously Pittsburgh and the Yankees with the color schemes and things like that. I just think it's plain and blah. Um, I, it's a Chicago White Sox hat. So I would put it probably at the bottom of boring, but that's okay.
Okay, I think I would agree with you. I think there's not a lot else they could do. Like it's either a black hat or a white hat or the pinstripe thing that the Yankees did
Well,
or
if you
gray.
go back to probably their best throwbacks of all time, they had some navy, they had some red. They could do something like that. And now Chris Sale is a Brave, so I can be happy saying this. Chris Sale cut up the uniform, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's a bad uniform. So, in my opinion, that's my favorite White Sox uniform. It's actually one of my top three favorite baseball uniforms of all time. So, I don't know. Maybe go more throwback era with that, or maybe it's time for the White Sox to rebrand.
I think the throwback, if I'm thinking correctly, is their spring training hat. Like I think the hat you're thinking of and want them to have is their not their spring training hat, their batting practice hat.
Yes. Well, obviously with that logo, but even the color scheme
Yeah.
of like where they had like the cutoff sleeves and like go more with that kind of red and navy blue color scheme. And then obviously if you go throw that old batting logo, Sox logo on that, it probably makes the hat so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't love it, but it's like fine, I guess. For a White Sox hat, I think it's fine. If
To me, it's giving you lost over 100 games. You're probably going to lose over 100 games again. We're not going to try anything because we're just the White Sox.
yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's very in hockey, it's like the Red Wings don't ever do anything. It feels a lot like that to me.
Yeah.
They're just kind of mailing it in, which again, props to the Yankees because they're a lot like that a lot of the time, and they actually went and tried to do something. So respect. The White Sox just didn't. I am up here with my Texas Rangers, and they got the all baby blue hat, and I think it's the very top of meh. I don't think it's like amazing. I think it's okay. We have a baby blue hat already. I have it here. I don't know how well this is going to show on camera. The one we have that we wear like on Sundays is like it has the blue bill and stuff, so it is kind of different. But I just don't think it's great. I think it's fine. I think it's not like a hat that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get that hat. But I don't think it's like the worst hat ever. I just think it's kind of meh. Doesn't do a lot for me as a Rangers fan.
See, as not necessarily a closet Ranger fan, but someone who kind of is forced to be a Ranger fan after my fandom of the Atlanta Braves, I actually do. If I were to ever buy a Rangers hat, this would be the hat I would buy. I wouldn't even buy the like the Navy Bill powder blue hat. I would buy this one, but I think I'm also just a huge sucker for powder blue. So for me, I'm throwing this bottom of pretty good behind Philadelphia because again, I just think Philadelphia's Bell logo carries that hat so much. But I am a sucker for powder blue, and I think they do the powder blue better than anyone else does the powder blue, other than maybe one other team once we get to them later.
Okay.
But I can still see them being in math.
I think I would settle for like low decent. I don't think I
Okay.
could get myself to feel good about pretty good because I think looking at the list, there's better powder blue hats, even in
Yeah.
just the spring training thing. Uh, but I could settle for decent.
In terms of Rangers hats, like I said, like I said with the Rangers hats, if you're looking at all the Rangers hats that they have, this is my favorite Texas Rangers hat.
Okay. I think that's a fair take. Uh, okay.
Now I am an Atlanta Braves fan, so don't take anything I say. But
Yeah. So you're up here with another powder blue, and this is Kansas
yeah,
City.
with Kansas City, the team to break the Will Smith curse. So yeah, Kansas City. Sorry, Kansas City Chiefs fans, you lost the Super Bowl. Um, I mean, I think it's decent. I love that like I know I just kind of raved about the powder blue hat of the Rangers, but then now I'm kind of on the Kansas City one. Not that I don't like it. I just think the Rangers, in terms of powder blue hats, actually do it better than Kansas City. But some of it maybe is the powder blue fatigue that Kansas City's leaned into
Sure.
over the last couple years. I would, since we have the Rangers in decent, I still think it's a good hat. I would put it behind the Rangers in decent.
Okay. I think.
I like the hat, but
Yeah,
I think I've seen a lot of powder blue from them. So and then we know the royal blue is their normal hat anyway. So what could you do?
yeah. My camera color is kind of odd, but it is like an exact clone of the Rangers hat, the baby blue Rangers hat that they wear like in the regular
Yeah,
season.
look, putting them right next to each other. The powder blues look identical on
Y-
this thing.
Yeah, I mean it's like besides the logo, like the bill, the button, like it's the same hat that the Rangers have in the regular season, just with the Royals logo. I think they're decent. I think they're like the same hat to me. I would maybe like Kansas City a little bit more, but I think like they're the same to me in like terms of liking it.
Yeah.
So I'm up here with Toronto, and I think this might be controversial, but I like this hat a lot. I think this right now I would put in the best that we've seen so far.
Okay,
Uh,
so top of pretty good for now to discuss the
top,
best.
yeah, top of pretty good for now. I like the like three-piece thing it's got going. I'm wearing a Mets hat right now that has that kind of vibe. It has like the front's different. Justin's a big Mets fan, obviously. So I'm
No,
wearing
the
it in
cover boy
honor
Justin
of
Courtney. No.
him. But I like it a lot, man. I like that there's three colors happening, the white in front, the classic Blue Jay logo, the royal blue, the baby blue. I think it just fits really well as a hat. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the best ones we'll see today.
Yeah. I am honestly in complete agreement with you. And I don't even want to call it bias because I know a player on that team that's going to wear the hat. I actually think this is one of the best hats in spring training. I love all three colors that they use. The retro logo that they're using, it pops. Using the white background for the retro logo for Toronto and how it plays into the powder blue bill, but then the kind of mesh background has the like royal blue to where it kind of fades the mesh away. I just think it's a very beautiful hat. I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So why don't you hit us here with Cleveland?
With Cleveland, yeah, I don't like the hat, and a lot of it I think is the logo. I've never been a huge fan of the Cleveland Guardians logo, and then it's just all red. You could do more with white or even navy blue with this, I think. But then again, they do a lot with navy blue in their normal uniforms. So for me, in my list, I'm gonna complete the Moses, or excuse, I'm gonna complete the 2x2 cattle here by throwing it on the bottom of "Do Something New, Please" behind the Brewers. So we're 2x2 on my list all the way
Okay.
through the categories. I just don't like the hat. I like the Milwaukee Brewers hat better. Um, and again, I think it's probably the logo.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of red happening for
Yeah,
them on a team that, like, when I think of like the Guardians or like the Indians before them, I don't think of red as like a super big color for that team or that like organization, you know? But they sure did go for it here, and
yeah,
I don't know. It is different. There is something to be said that it is different than their hats that they wear in season. Uh, so that's a plus, I guess, because you don't just want to make your hat again like some of these teams do that we'll get
yeah,
to in a minute. This is one of those that I would have loved to have seen the like rejected ideas for this hat that they didn't go with. I think
yeah.
because there's always like they probably come to the table with like these are the five finalists, pick one, and this is the one they landed on. So I would have loved to have seen the other ones. Which brings us to Baltimore, and this is a Halloween hat if I've ever seen it. Uh, I don't mind it, honestly. It's cool. It is an exact replica of the San Francisco hat that we'll talk about in a bit, or maybe we can talk about them together. I don't know. But I think it's like fine. I think it's decent. I don't think it's like incredible. I would put it in the middle of decent, probably, wherever
Okay,
that's gonna
so
wind up being. I guess below the baby blue
okay,
parade we have there currently. I think it's
uh,
good. I would have
yeah,
liked to have seen that maybe with like the bird, like on the front instead of O's, but that is different at least.
yeah. I actually like the O's logo they chose. This I actually kind of feel like I would have liked to see just going with their normal kind of hat, like with the white front with the black O's, with the black bill, and then the orange back. I think if that's the hat, I would love it even more. I actually don't hate it though. So yeah, I would put it in decent.
So you're up here with Oakland.
Yeah, so the Athletics, the homeless Athletics,
Oh, you're right.
um,
My bad.
technically Sacramento. Yeah, you're on par with New Era right now with not knowing that they've moved. But no, the Sacramento A's or just the Athletics or Las Vegas Athletics, Oakland Athletics, whatever we want to call them.
Yep.
I actually really like this hat.
Okay.
I have very similar feelings to this hat as the Philadelphia team that preceded them in the city. And so I hate doing this because they're two technical Philadelphia teams. But I think this is right on par with right where that Philadelphia Phillies hat is in pretty good. It's not the Toronto Blue Jays, so I think there's a different tier there. Um, I love the Kelly green whenever the Athletics use the Kelly green, and I think that Kelly green pops off the yellow. I think they did a very good job with the yellow. Their yellow isn't like mustard yellow person. Well, it is kind of mustardy, but it's not like a light mustard like the Milwaukee Brewers, or it's not kind of brownie yellow like the Padres. So I really like the colors and how it pops. I like the Kelly green, and that kind of pulls it all together for me. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I like it a lot. I don't think it's like the best, but it's really good, I think. I don't know what else you could do. I guess maybe I would like it. I would have liked to have seen a version with the elephant on it, but I want to say they just did that like a few years
Yeah.
ago. Maybe a version with like a green bill would have been interesting to me. So it's not just straight yellow, but it's pretty good. I like it. So that brings us to Seattle. A very interesting hat. The color, I'm going to get hate for this for sure. This is going to be the first hate comment we get. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you said this. The color, the main color reminds me of toothpaste. Uh, that's just what it looks like to me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just what I think about when I see the color on the Seattle hat.
The
It,
Colgate Mint.
yeah, I like it. I think it's different than every other hat. Like, we don't have another hat that's that color, or really
Yeah, we
even
don't have
other
teal hats,
team.
really.
So I like that part of it. I think it's pretty good. I would say this is a little better than the A's. I almost said Oakland again. We're gonna need a counter for how many times we say Oakland this year. Uh, I think it's a little better than the A's. I don't think it's better than Philly. I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's really in the conversation for the best for me personally, but I think it's really good.
Yeah, I like the hat. Only difference I would say is I would put that top of decent ahead of the Rangers and Royals. I personally don't think it's on par with the Phillies and A's, but I still like the hat.
Yeah,
But I'm still fine keeping it in pretty good.
I
That's
think
just my
it's
personal.
yeah, I think it's like top of decent, bottom of pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably is where it should land. So you're up here with Arizona, the
Yeah.
D-backs.
So I think people are going to start seeing a trend with me with these kind of weird hats. The reason why I put Seattle at the top of decent and bottom of pretty good, but not necessarily getting into pretty good, is because of this hat. I really like the teal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I guess you can say semi homer pick because I've used to do Diamondbacks franchises with them all the time. Hence why I like fell in love with Ender Inciarte before he became a Brave and all this other kind of stuff. The really great, like really long stories with the Diamondbacks for me. But I really love the teal. The red Diamondback alternate logo, I think, is amazing. It pops. I think it has the same effect to me as that Oakland A's hat, but just not as much of a pop because of the darker colors being the one that's trying to pop out of the bright hat. So for me, I think this is bottom of pretty good, and not quite decent because I think it is better than the Seattle Mariners hat. So I think if you've got colors that pop and it stands out and is different, I give you bonus points for that. So I put it bottom of pretty good, not quite beating the A's or Phillies, but definitely beating Seattle. That puts Seattle down in decent.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's to me, I think I like those two hats about the same. Uh, I like that they use that color a lot. I think for me personally, I'd like a throwback look spring training hat at some point for them with the like purple and stuff.
Yeah.
But for what it is, I think it's pretty good. There's not a lot of changes I would make to that hat to make it better. You know what I'm
No, yeah,
saying?
I think it's really good the way that it is.
I think that's like the peak. Like if that direction that they went, that's as good as they could have made it look. I think the Detroit Tigers, and they have a bright ass orange hat with
Traffic cone.
yeah, the orange tiger. Is their jersey orange or are they navy in spring
I think they're
training?
Navy.
Okay.
I should actually text two of my buddies that are going to be reporting here in a day or two for Detroit, see what they're wearing.
See
But
what they're in.
yeah, because both of them are in big league camp. One has a chance to make big league roster. The other's at best probably going to be double A, but is in big league camp.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Seeing those guys wear those hat will be cool. But I think they're Navy jerseys.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to go full on traffic cone.
I think it's I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's good. I like that it's not just another navy hat because I feel like they fall into the same thing that like the Red Wings do, where all their stuff is the same over and over again.
Yeah.
Obviously, the City Connect jersey they came out with is different. Uh, I think it's decent. I think it's like bottom of decent. It's something
Okay.
new. It's a lot of orange. I don't think I could go any higher for me than the bottom of decent. I don't think it's boring. I guess it could be do something new, which I know is like a wild change in like visual things, but like I don't hate it. I don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah.
conflicted.
I think because we've got decent, meh, then boring. That's okay. I think it is better than the Yankees and Pirates in the meh. And I think the Tiger logo they use carries it. I just don't seem to like the traffic coniness of the hat. And that's what I think puts it top of meh for me.
Yeah. I almost think if they had made the like top part of the hat navy and then left like the button orange and maybe the bill orange, I think that
Yeah.
would have been really cool. But
But then if they do that, in my personal opinion, it looks like an Auburn Tigers hat.
yeah, that's true too. Which it, I mean, with the color scheme and using a tiger, it's kind of gonna look like that anyway.
True.
So I don't know. It's either meh or like do something new, please, but not in the same way as the other do something new, pleases. You,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you're up here with the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubbies. So, I really like the hat though. Again, I'm a sucker for powder blue, but I do, unlike Kansas City, I do like the navy royalish blue bill that they have. But I think I like it better because of the alternate Cubs logo they use, and it's that same blue that does kind of make the logo pop. For me, this is not quite Diamondbacks. Well, maybe I'm gonna stick with my guns. I don't think this is quite the Diamondbacks hat, but it's better than Seattle. So I like this hat a lot, but I'm going to put it top of decent, not quite pretty good. But I could be convinced that it's pretty good.
Like it there. I think that the Diamondback hat to me is better than the Cubs hat, and it's like to me it's like a pretty considerable difference. But I like the Cubs hat a lot, so I would feel good about it there. I think it's
Yeah.
very similar to like the Rangers and Royals hat. I like the logo a lot. I probably like it better than the Mariners hat, so I think we're in pretty complete agreement on that hat actually.
Yeah, I mean, again, similar to what I said about with some of these other alternate logo, like the Phillies or the Diamondbacks, like the alternate logo like carries this hat. Because I didn't like Kansas City's as much because it's just their KC monogram, but it's the exact same hat. But I love it a whole lot more because of the alternate logo and how it works with the colors.
Yeah. Yeah, I think top of decent is pretty fair. I think it's yeah, I think that's just where it should be. Give me 1 second. I gotta plug my charger in. And we're back. Editor Josh, probably cut that out. Doesn't just look like you pelvic thrusted the camera.
Well, no, keep that in and then throw an OnlyFans link up there,
You're right.
or a Feet Finder.
You know what Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could show
Or
my
or
feet.
now could be the great commercial break. Now could be the great commercial break for Reese for Reese McGuire's sperm bank.
Do you have problems with erectile dysfunction? But to segue seamlessly from a team that hopefully doesn't have erectile dysfunction, although Tatis might with all the stuff he's pumping his body with. It's the San Diego Padres. And they have an all yellow hat. And I think I feel the same way about this hat as you feel about the Detroit hat, where it feels
Okay.
traffic coney. It just feels like a lot of one color, but not like in the cool way that the A's and Diamondbacks did it. Uh, I think I like this one a whole lot less than I like the A's hat. Uh,
Okay.
I don't think it's terrible. I don't necessarily think they should do something new, although I think I could be talked into that. It just doesn't really do it for me. To me, this is like boring, but that's okay, I guess, because they have other cool uniform stuff happening, like in their just general uniform. Like their City Connect is kind of cool, and I think their general uniforms are sick, which kind of takes away with that color scheme of what you can do with this hat to make it different.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think it's boring, but that's okay to me. I would probably put it between the Cardinals and the White Sox, but
Okay. So Cardinals better than Padres.
I think so, probably. Just because I like red better than yellow, I guess would be the logic there. But
Okay. Yeah. I agree. Everything you said about Detroit, Detroit's hat being very similar to this. Yeah, it reminds me of a construction zone, which is basically San Diego. As many times as I go out there, like I like this better than St. Louis's, so I would
okay.
put it above it. But yeah, I agree. It needs to be in boring, but that's okay. Their other uniforms are so cool with what they do with the brown and the yellow and the white, and they're branded very well right now.
Yeah,
And it's hard to top what they do 162 games a season in the regular season.
brings us to the Dodgers.
You mean the deferrals?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
So why do I keep getting all the teams I hate? I got Philadelphia, I got the Dodgers. At least I won't have to do the Mets because you're a Mets fan.
Yeah,
But okay, let me talk about the deferrals. I mean the Dodgers. Obviously, the alternate Dodger D. I'm going to call it the deferral D. I actually like the logo of it, despite how much I don't like the Dodgers. Still love Freddie Freeman. Hate the Dodgers. Um, yeah, I think the logo carries it, but at the end of the day, the Dodgers are going to not do anything really different than the norm. They are one of the historic franchises in Major League Baseball, and yeah, you've seen them do a little bit of different stuff, like with the City Connects and things like that. But yeah, the logo carries this one for me. I would put this bottom of decent, but we're kind of filling up decent there. So just because I hate the deferrals, I'm going to put it top of meh over the Detroit Tigers. But I do think this logo does carry it because I do like the logo.
yeah, I think it's fine. It reminds me kind of like the Disney D, like from the Disney Channel or whatever. I think
Yeah.
it's okay. I don't think it's great. I think it's just kind of meh. It's
It's not
boring.
direct TV. It's not direct TV like their City Connect.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's
Uh,
probably why they're getting all these deferrals. Their City Connect is DirecTV, the D is Disney. Like they're just getting all these up, and then Shohei Otani and all the other Japanese guys are bringing Japanese money over. Like,
yeah,
but maybe that's how they're doing it.
dude,
We just broke the code.
they're getting paid out the ass, dude. That's what it comes down to, I think. So the next up is the Reds, and the Reds have a red hat, obviously. This feels
Just
a lot like a hat they wear all the time in the regular season.
yeah,
Uh,
I think it is.
yeah. I think there's a lot of things I would change about it. I'm gonna throw it and do something new, please, because I know
Mm-hmm.
they're the Reds, and I know the hat is red, and I know that makes sense, Cincinnati, and maybe Cincinnati fans love it, but I don't. I think it's kind of boring. So
Yeah, I agree. Do something new, please. I would put it top of do something new just because I don't mind the Reds hat typically, but there is so much more you could do. They have some great alternative logos. They have, I mean, like they have a lot you can do with it, but they're one of those teams that because they were the first ever Major League Baseball franchise, act like they're historic because they are, but in a way, they're like the Rutgers of college football, where you were the first, but you're really not that iconic. So, other than like your Pete Rose era, so I don't know. They act iconic when they're really not, and maybe now the Braves are gonna get swept by them in the Speedway Series just because I said that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, do something new. You can do a lot more with it.
if you're from Cincinnati and you now hate Justin, comment that down below, because
Hey, I love Joe Burrow, Cincinnati. I was recruited by the University of Cincinnati. I'll even text Josh the picture so he can throw it up right now. Me in a Cincinnati Bearcats jersey right now. Boom.
okay, okay, I'll throw it on the screen.
I love
Uh,
Cincinnati.
I think an alternate logo would do wonders for this hat. Like throw the what Mr. Red, whatever his name is, Red's legs. I don't even
Yeah,
know. Throw him on the hat, same hat, all red. I think it transforms it a little bit. But this one, it's kind of boring. Brings us to the Angels, which is a clone of the Cincinnati hat, and I think it's only fair we throw it in exactly the same spot for the same exact
yeah,
reasons. It's
I
red.
completely agree.
It's a hat they wear all the time in the regular season. Again, do something new. Please change the color, make it navy, make the brim baby blue or something. Bring back the 90s colors one time. I don't
Go
know.
black hat with the red accent color. Do something. Like
Anything new.
here, if you went Pittsburgh Pirates, I would actually like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they are basically the Atlanta Braves West now. So, eh.
Okay, so that brings us to you in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So Tampa. Um, I know I'm a sucker for powder blue and different hats, but I have seen this Rays alternate logo so many times, and I still like it. But I feel like I've seen it enough.
Okay.
Um, but the yellow and the powder blue still kind of carries it. And but I feel like I've seen this hat, so I feel like it is boring, but that's okay. But the top of boring, but that's okay. I like the hat. Just I feel like I've seen this too many times from them.
Okay.
So I would like to say do something new, please, but it's still something I like. So, boring, but that's okay.
I think so. I think me and you have pretty different takeaways of this hat. I like that it's baby blue and it has a different color than royal blue as a secondary color because I think that's the
Yeah.
trap that a lot of these hats fell into. I think the logo has been around a while, so that would be a knock. But I do think it kind of just encapsulates what spring training is. It's like you want it to be a chill vibe, just like sunny and blue skies, and I feel like they kind of nailed it in a hat. I, for me, I think it's pretty good. I would feel okay about it in decent. I think it at
Yeah, I
least
feel it
needs
too.
to be in the same tier as the other baby blue hats we have.
Yeah, I would say it's the second best baby blue hat we have. I would say it's better than Texas, but not Seattle.
Okay.
Because I still like the hat. I like the use of yellow in it. It differentiates it from the other baby blues, but it's not as good as Chicago's, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's like at least in that tier of hat to me.
Yeah.
It's only fair, I think. But it is like I think it's pretty good. I think a lot of people will think it's pretty good, but they have done it kind of a lot. I think the yellow's new. I can't remember them doing yellow ever in a spring training
Yeah,
hat, like
true.
the bill or whatever. So I think there's a lot of positive things about this hat, honestly.
Most definitely.
Okay, so that brings me to the Mets. And the Mets hat is going to be very polarizing, I think. I think a lot of people are going to like it a lot. I think a lot of people are going to hate it. But Mr. Met in sunglasses, to me, pretty good. I think it's one of the better hats. I would put this in the same tiers like Philly, Toronto feels like the top hats we have just because it's so different. Um, the secondary logo obviously carries it because if it was just like the normal NY or whatever, I think it's maybe one of the worst hats. Uh, but the Mr. Met in sunglasses is just so different that I kind of love it. It feels a lot like the Philly having the like Mr. Fanatic on their spring training hat last year or their batting practice hat, whatever that was. It's the same vibe for that, I think. It's just so
No,
different that I like it a lot.
even though I hate the New York Mets, I really enjoy this logo. I really enjoy the hat. I hate that I do not have a buddy that is wearing this hat now. But yeah, I think it is better than the Philadelphia, Sacramento, and Arizona hats, but I do not think it beats Toronto. So I'm putting it in pretty good, right below Toronto, even though it pains me to see two NL East teams, the two that I'm probably going to be battling for the title with, in pretty good. But I think they're there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good hat. I would definitely understand the people that are like, it's too much and I don't like it. I respect that opinion. I think I like it a lot just because it's so different.
Yeah, go back to back here with Boston too.
Yeah, so Boston and Minnesota are the same hat, right? That's the vibe we're getting here. It,
See, I wanted to do Minnesota because I have a different opinion,
oh,
and
okay.
plus it gets me to get the Atlanta Braves too. So
Okay, I got you. Uh so to me, looking at this, because we've already crossed this bridge, Boston and Minnesota, it's the same hat. They're both red, they have the blue button, the white logo, blue accent, blue bill. I feel like Boston has done this a lot. So we're just grading Boston here. I think Boston has done this pretty frequently in the past. I feel like they have the red and the blue bill, and I get there's not a lot else you could do. Maybe throw the socks on there one time, like the hanging
yeah,
socks or whatever. To me, this is a do something new, please. I just feel like I've seen it a lot, and it
yeah,
is different than their normal hat. I understand that. The normal hat is a classic. They're trying not to just do that again. I respect that so much. I just feel like I've seen this a lot, and I would like a different version of this.
I could agree with that. And that gets me on to the Minnesota Twins because I'll segue what I'm going to say about Boston to basically make my rating about the Twins. If Boston used a secondary logo, like you said, Josh, with like the two hanging socks, I think this is up there in the kind of tier with Tampa, Seattle, the Cubs, Diamondbacks, A's. Like I think it's in that tier if they use a different, like a secondary logo, because I think secondary logos for spring training hats can carry these. Now let me get on to Minnesota. Yes, it is the exact same hat, but I really love the alternate Minnesota Twins logo, and I'm actually a big fan of the rebrand they had. And the logo alone and the way that the hat design is, I know we don't necessarily hate it on Boston, but we don't necessarily love it on Boston. I actually love it in Minnesota. And with that, I'm going to put it in the decent category, probably not above Tampa, but I still think it's better than Texas.
Okay. I think I think the difference between Boston and Minnesota is that I feel like I've seen that exact hat a ton from
Yeah.
Boston and I haven't seen it a ton from Minnesota at this point because they just
Ye-
rebranded. It used to be like the TC thing, you know, like on the front of it, and now it's like the M with the North Star, I think is what that's supposed to be. Uh, so yeah, I could get behind that. But
And
uh,
the thing too, like it probably wouldn't work on this hat, but in the future, because the Twins are a team I tend to follow because my dad's from Minnesota. If they go to like not the City Connect because that's their like 10,000 Lakes one, but
yeah,
if they go to like their Sunday Cream ones where they have like the little like MS St. P, like the
yeah,
Minneapolis St. Paul, two different flag logos, like if they use that and went with kind of like a creamish hat or use that and tied it in with a navy or something next year, I think the Twins marketing people, if you're listening, I think that could be a good hat too. But for this year, I think it's a really decent hat.
yeah, I would agree. So that brings us here to Washington.
Jake's not here to defend himself.
Jake is not here to defend himself, and it's like dark. I guess it's navy. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
a really
black.
deep navy.
Uh,
No, actually, no, it's a black hat. No, yeah, it's black
black and
with a
like
deep navy
navy.
logo.
To me, the logo doesn't pop.
Yeah,
It's new. It is different than what they've done. So respect there. I don't like it. To me, this is a do something new. Please, even making the logo like white maybe would help. I don't know what
yeah,
that would look like. It feels like from afar, you look at it and you wouldn't be able to tell it's a W on the hat because it would like blend in. It's the same problem I have with the Angels hats all the time is it's like red on red and the piping on the outside like isn't thick enough for you to really tell until you're close up. That's the problem
yeah,
I have with this hat. I just don't love it.
yeah. See, I completely agree, but even probably to a worser extent. And this is not because they're an NL East team. I will say that for just that because we're about to talk about my team in a second. But I just don't like this hat at all. I don't think it's the worst hat. I think it is the second worst hat of spring training hats. So I have it on the very bottom of do something new please and we can debate at the very end if that is the worst hat. I just don't like the black on navy. I understand they've rebranded. I don't hate the rebrand overall. I just don't like what they've done with this spring training hat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know, it's just not a great hat, you know? I
Yeah.
just don't like it. I think about these and like, would I buy this as a fan of the team? And I don't think I would buy that if I was a Nationals fan. Probably.
No.
I think they just have better hats, you know?
Yep.
Okay, so you're up here with Atlanta.
Yeah, so very easy. The best hat. No. I mean, Atlanta has some very, very good hats. I have what, probably 20, 25 hats. I still have less hats than bobbleheads, guys, if you actually can believe that. But I do like the hat, but it feels like what I just thinking in the back of my head of what have I seen from the Braves on social media through spring training in years past. This feels like they want to always go with like the Friday red batting practice type hat for spring training. I still like it because we only use the like the red on Fridays and our Friday home games. So I like the use of the red hat because I don't see red hats enough, and we never have red hats typically. So this is the way to use a red hat. But I feel like I've seen this year in, year out. Obviously, the Braves are a very historic franchise in baseball. The organization has certain rules about the A on the hat and how they really won't do anything else with the hat because of the culture and the branding and stuff like that of it. Also, I mean, you'll obviously never see like a Ken Griffey Jr. type guy turning his hat backwards during batting practice because of standards and stuff that the Braves have there that not many people actually know about because the A is always going to be facing forward. Thanks, Bobby Cox. But yeah, I mean, I like the hat. It is probably not a hat I would buy. But just for the sake of putting it ahead of the Dodgers and me being a biased Braves fan, I would definitely put this in decent. above the Rangers, but that's my Braves bias. If I take my Braves bias out of it, I have seen this a lot. It's still a good hat because it is different than what they always do. It's top of meh, better than the Dodgers because we're going to be better than the Dodgers come the World Series in the National League.
I got you. I feel like, yeah, I'm fine with either of those places because, like, side by side with the Twins hat, again, very similar. Uh, I think I do like it better than the Dodgers just for the sake of there's more going on.
Yeah.
Uh,
But the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking, hey, do I just need to go ahead and buy it? I do get a 10% discount being an A-list member. Like, do I just need to get it?
I don't, it's like, I think it's a decent hat. I don't think it's
Yeah.
like the best hat
It's growing
here.
on me the more that I look at it.
It's like top half of these hats for sure.
And seeing Spencer Strider in it tomorrow is going to make me happy. So I might buy it.
The yeah, dude, the legs popping out of the pants. Somebody tell
The,
Strider to get some bigger pants, dog.
the Mustang, not the Mustang, the mustache too with the hat. Yeah,
Dude's
I am not a gay man, but I think about it when I think of Spencer Strider.
smash. Hey guys, 20 likes. Justin and I do a smash or pass with every MLB pitcher. In next up, Colorado. I think that this is a boring hat, but hear me out here. I like that it's the only hat. They're the only team that has purple, and I like that they're using the purple. Uh,
Isn't
so
this just a normal Rockies hat though?
I think the Normals Rocky hat is black, is it not? Let's see.
I feel like this is the Rockies hat typically.
Let's see. I'm Google searching it, so y'all are seeing it live. We have the City Connect. No, their normal one is like the black with the purple brim.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah. I
Uh,
don't. Well, oh, no.
it's now there is
I
a
feel like
purple
I've seen this.
one. I'm looking at it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's all black or the black and purple brim.
There is a purple version here. I mean, it's a hat they wear, right? I think I think it's boring. It is. I think it's boring, but that's okay. Just for the sake, because in this group of hats, there's not another purple hat. I think it's okay, but I could be talked into do something new, please. I don't think it's
No,
spectacular. I don't think it's one of the
yeah,
best hats, but I think it's like fine.
I think it's the best of boring, but that's okay. But I think that's because it's purple and there's no other purple being used anywhere.
Yeah. So you're up here with Houston.
All right. Hot take. Let's start banging on trash cans. This is the worst hat in my opinion. I we can debate Washington because it's between Washington and Houston for me.
Yeah.
I feel like they went Easter orange with then their normal orange bill. I don't like it at all. The logo feels like it's drowned out. Um, it's screaming new era for Houston, and this new era is they're falling off the face of the earth and finally going back to being irrelevant. Even though that's not what the team's going to do in real life, but it, that's what it screams to me. Obviously, because we can't put it in the worst yet because we got to debate it. I still put it the bottom of do something new, please. This is the one I'm shipping to Africa, and then the Washington Nationals one can go next. But I hate this hat. This is not even Houston Astros hate. Like I just hate the hat. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. I mean, this is I don't like the two shades of orange. It just looks weird. It's almost like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like creamsicle orange and then
Yeah.
their normal orange. And I think it would have I don't think I would have liked it, but it would have been better if it had just all been that normal orange. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't think I like the creamsicle look on it because I am trying to imagine it even with just that like lighter orange all over. Like the bill is
Yeah.
also that color, and I don't. I think
Even
that would
even
not
if
be
you
good
went
either.
Yeah, even if you went like the Detroit route of going all your typical orange or even all the creamsicle orange, I don't think that's a good hat at all.
Yeah, I don't.
The only way I think you save this hat is if you try to go Toronto and make a white background for the logo.
Yeah, I just fundamentally, I think it's bad. I think
Yeah.
we're in complete agreement there. Yeah, we'll debate that one for the worst for sure. Next up here, San Francisco. This one's me. This looks a whole lot like the Baltimore hat. So to me, I think it's worse than the Baltimore hat, but I think it's like right next to it. I think it's the same hat. I get the same warm, fuzzy feelings looking at it. I think it's decent. I think it's different than their normal hat. I kind of wish there was a secondary logo, but also I don't know what secondary logo they have besides the SF that they could throw on it. Uh, I think it's fine. I think I like Baltimore's better, but I think it's like the same as Baltimore's, so I'm gonna put it right next to Baltimore for now.
See, for me, I'm putting it in that boring, but that's okay, because of the logo. Like to me, this looks like an alternate hat that they would wear whenever they wear a black jersey or the orange jerseys that they'll wear. Like this feels like the hat they would wear with that. The SF logo, I've seen it so many times. What I think separated the Orioles, because it is the same hat, what separates the Orioles one from the San Francisco one is the logo. The fact that I like the alternate logo they're going with versus San Francisco just using the same SF logo. Yeah, I'm putting it top of boring, but that's okay because at the end of the day, it's the San Francisco Giants. The hat works. It's a decent hat, but you didn't do anything different. But I do think it's better than Colorado and St. Louis and San Diego. I would even argue, or not argue, I would say it's better than Detroit, the Yankees, and Pirates too. But I don't think it's better than the Dodgers or Braves. So I'm putting it boring, but that's okay.
Yeah. I also, now that I'm thinking about it, feel like they've done this hat a lot in the past. Like I feel like I've seen this version of San Francisco in spring training a
Yeah.
lot. I don't know. I think boring, but that's okay is fair. I'm kind of indifferent about it. I could be talked anywhere from like the middle of decent to do something new, please, and I would feel okay about any of those positions.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know. It's cool. It is different than anything they wear in the regular season, which again, that's points for me. I think if you're doing a special hat for spring training, it needs to be different than what you wear in the regular season. So it is at least that. Uh, but yeah, I don't. It's not like a spectacular hat by any means.
Yeah.
Okay, so why
And
don't?
then
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, then to round everything off, we have the Miami Marlins with a hat I feel like I have seen before. Because this feels like an alternate hat that they typically have, or at least a spring training hat I've seen every year since they've rebranded to this different M. I wish they like. I'm maybe in the minority that thinks their old branding with like the orange and blue and like those kind of colors when like Giancarlo Stanton and stuff were there. Like I actually liked that branding of the Marlins. Um, this new one kind of took away some of those like Miami Vice feels or just the Miami vibes. Like obviously you still kind of have the Miami Vice blue. They try to incorporate some pink and some stuff. So like I get it. You try to incorporate the Miami Vice stuff. But I think if you're Miami and the Miami Vice stuff with the Heat goes super well every year when they change it, why not we like go full out with like a pink hat or something like that? Like I feel like I've seen this hat every year, but I do think it's kind of a good hat to go with. So I would say do something new, please, because I do want to see like a pink hat or go Vice vibes, like stuff like that. But I do think it's better than Detroit and the Yankees. So I'm putting it right behind the Dodgers and ahead of Detroit in meh. And then just on my list, I'm moving Pittsburgh all the way down to do something new, please, ahead of Cleveland, just because I can't look at Pittsburgh in the same
Same tier as those
tier as the
guys.
Braves and those other ones.
That's fair.
And I could even be talked into the Yankees one being moved down. as well from meh, but I do like the fact that they
It
did
is
something
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the Marlins hat. I think of the like I will call it blue adjacent hats of all the like baby blue and royal blue and teal and whatever Seattle's is, they're the worst of that group.
Yeah.
I
But
would
but again, it's not a bad hat. I just
yeah.
think we've seen it too much. So maybe there's fatigue in us seeing it. But then the more I look at Kansas City's, I'm like, I think I like Miami's better than Kansas City's.
Yes. I think it would be interesting to see this exact hat that Miami has, same logo, but like a pink bill and pink button on top maybe. I think
Yeah.
that would be kind of sick potentially. I would love to see it. I don't know if it would look sick. I think it would be interesting as a concept to look at. But I don't yeah, I think it's kind of meh. I think it's good. I don't know. I could be talked anywhere from meh to like decent. I could be
Yeah.
talked into like above the Rangers hat probably. I think the Twins hat is for sure better.
Yep. I'm gonna keep it in meh. So I'm putting it behind the Dodgers, but the more I look at the Royals, the more I'm like, do I move the Royals down behind Miami but ahead of Detroit?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So we need to debate now before we do any of
Yep.
that. The best and the worst. I think to just knock it out, we're in agreement on the worst. I think Houston's is the worst.
Yep.
I think
Houston.
Washington's is still passable because I feel like you can always get away with just a black hat, like wearing it.
Yeah.
Uh, Houston's is just bad. I think
Yeah.
even if I
Houston's
was
is
a
just
Houston's fan, I don't think I would like it.
yeah.
Uh, so I assume we're in agreement on that.
Oh, we are in agreement on that. I
Okay.
mean, in reality, if we're scrapping hats, like if we just want to throw ones in the worst that I think we're just scrapping and shipping to Africa, I think Cleveland and Washington can join it. But
Okay.
no, I think Houston's in another tier of how bad that hat is.
Yeah, I think they're far and away the worst one of the group.
Yeah.
So now let's turn to happier things and talk about the best. And I guess we have like two or three, right? It's Toronto, the Mets, and Philly. It would
I
be
mean,
the three.
I've got 5 in the pretty good tier, and that's Toronto, Mets, Philly, Oakland, and Arizona.
Yeah,
But even then, I think this is going to be a really easy agreement unless you go fandom here, where I think it's Toronto. Like I like the Mets hat is not as good if you just put the NY on it.
yeah,
Regardless of what you put on Toronto's hat, I think that hat looks really good. You can wear it anywhere. Uh, yeah, I think that that hat stands above the rest, is like a tier above.
yeah. I think Toronto's is just such a classic look. I actually agree with you. I think the Mets, the different is cool, but I don't think the different makes it the best, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think Toronto's as a concept is the best hat of the group. It's different. It's really the only hat looking at all these now that has that like tricolor thing happening.
yeah,
And they execute it really well. So I
and it's
do
still
think
crazy to
that's the
me to
best one.
think. Yeah, and it's still crazy for me to think that the Orioles do the tri hat typically,
And
but
then
they
don't
didn't
hear.
even probably think to do it here with an alternative logo. But then again, maybe it is so close to what they typically do on why they didn't do it.
Yeah. I think yeah, I don't know. I think this would be a good I feel pretty good about this final list I'm looking at.
Yeah, I feel
Uh
pretty good about it.
I don't think there's anything I would change. I don't think we missed the mark on any of them. But I guess if you watched and made it to the end of the video, let us know if you disagree wholeheartedly. Do we hate your team? Do we love your team? Let us know in the comments. Uh,
And tell us which hat you are going to cop out of these 30 hats.
yeah, that's a good question. So you get to buy like two or three of them. Which three are you buying, Justin? Besides like your team, besides Atlanta.
Okay, so besides Atlanta, I would buy Toronto. I would buy the Athletics, the Cubs, and maybe the Twins. Those would be mine.
Okay. I think I would for sure buy Toronto. I would buy the Mets, I think. I think I might buy the Mets either way.
Well.
I don't
You're
know
a
if that
Ranger and a Met
counts.
fan.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go
Because if I had to keep out
Toronto.
Atlanta,
I like Phillies a lot, honestly. And I like Tampa's a
yeah,
lot. I might buy Tampa's. If I was to pick three, it'd be Toronto, Philly, Tampa. If I'm not allowed to buy a Mets hat, I would think about the Cubs too. I think the
yeah.
Cubs
The
is
the the Cubs and Athletics would be the two I think I would buy without hesitation. Toronto, I would still, even though I love the hat, I would still just like I would consider it just because it's Toronto. Um, but yeah, to me the Phillies hat's up there too, but I'm just not going to purchase a Philadelphia Phillies hat.
that's fair. I'm gonna change the worst to ship it to Africa to properly reflect how we feel about the hat.
Yeah, and we can even make another tier of burn and redo, and that's Cleveland and Washington.
Yeah, hold on. Ad row. Y'all are watching me do this live because there's no way I'm editing this out. Uh, burn. Yeah, just straight up burn. Burn. Here we go. Burn feels like worse than ship it to Africa.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
and it's fine.
You know what? I'm gonna
That's why I
change
said burn and redo. Burn and redo.
Army of Red Hats.
Oh, there we go.
We're gonna throw the Guardians, the Angels,
And the
Cardinals,
Reds. Cardinals, Reds.
all of them. Okay, so I think that's the final tier list. Let us know if you guys enjoyed. Let us know if you want something similar to this, maybe the City Connects or something for the year. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, comment the word. Give us a word, Justin.
Vivo.
Vivo.
Vivo. And that is because there's an advertisement on my screen called
I'm
Vivo.
I'm looking just behind the scenes. If you made it an hour into this video, I've been looking at statues for the last little bit, for the last hour. There they are. Yeah. So comment Vivo if you enjoyed the video, or if you made it this far, we'll pin you. First person to comment Vivo. That's not Justin. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Take it easy.